Okay, everyone, we'll get started. Again, my name is Michael Schutt, the marketing manager with Speco Technologies. Thank you for joining our webinar today on our Bridge and VMS platform. Our national sales trainer, Daniel Sachowski, something has come up. He'll be a little late. So Tim O'Brien, one of our product managers, will be handling the webinar. He just started to share his screen. So Tim, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Mike. And hi, everyone. Just wanted to thank you guys for joining us today. And today we'll be taking a dive into SecureGuard VMS software and the main features of SecureGuard VMS. So how you get SecureGuard VMS is it comes installed on our SecureGuard servers. If you ever purchase one, you could have the SecureGuard VMS installation, or you could request to download it, not on the Speco Tech website, but you could email into tech support as well to get the SecureGuard VMS software. And with my screen being shown, you could see that we have the SecureGuard configuration tool. So this is what you will see once you first open up SecureGuard VMS. So it'll have you use the registration, the company name, contact name, phone number, email address, and site name. So the default username is admin. So once you first log into it, you'll see something like this. You'll have your systems tab. So under your systems tab, you have your system folder right here. So this is where all your files will be going. Your system record folder, where that's if you're recording to the SecureGuard VMS, which is one of the nice features with our VMS software. It allows recording. So you could browse and select where you want the recordings folder to be. You have your recording days. So this is 60 days out of the box. So this is how long it will store it before it begins to override. So you could change that to as many days as you guys need, depending on the terabytes of storage. So you could see my drive is 28% used, and the maximum disk space that we keep is 90% max. So that's once it begins to override, once it gets to 90%. You could also archive data. So if you need to store the data for 180 days or X amount of days, you'll be into archive. So that's, you could check this off. If you have to archive, you select the archive location. Check for updates. So the current version of the VMS is 2.9.7. It gives you the build date here. And you could check now, it'll go out and find the current firmware version. And then you have your record triggers, and you could stop and manually start the service. So anytime that you make a change, you want to stop the service, and that will allow you to hit browse here if you ever have to change anything, and then you click manually start as well. So the next tab is the database. And this is where all the data gets stored. So you get to browse the file name, and you could browse where the data is stored. You could create a new database. You could import a database, export a database, or back it up as well. So I always recommend having automatic backups scheduled for any of our SecureGuard VMS installations, because if the file gets corrupted, it's always good to have a backup. So I always recommend putting it on a thumb drive or on the desktop of the PC. And then you could set backup times daily, every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and select the time that you want to do it. I always recommend in the morning, because then it will stop the service and restart for you guys. And then if you guys over here, you have your database maintenance. So anytime that you do a backup, you could back it up on the spot. And we always recommend backing it up before any firmware upgrade to the server. And then you have your database validation, where it will validate the data, making sure everything's in sync. The next tab is your network tab. Let me uncheck that. Apply. So the network tab. So if you purchase a SecureGuard server, if you have any server installation that has 2 network cards on the back of it, you could have your client interface, which is whatever your clients connect to. Like if you're connecting to the server, that will be the address, and your video interface, which is your camera network. So if you have 2 separate networks, you could select which one's which. We also have a US-based DDNS service, so you could put your own unique host name to it. And these are the ports that it uses to connect to the SecureGuard server. And you could also have email server as well if you want to get emailed like any updates if a camera goes offline, if you want to get emailed specific reports as well, like health status reports. Sites. So this is where you add your sites and access control. So you could add any of your sites here, and you have up to 32 licenses free on the initial installation. Anything more than 32, we sell in blocks of 32 channel licenses. So if you need 64 cameras, you need a block of 32. So you get 32 free, and then you would have to pay for a block of 32. And we would just need a health status report. So that will be under the license page. I'll show you guys how to do that. So depending on what the CPU is of the server, then that will determine how many cameras that computer or server could hold. And we have, so to add a site, you can either use the site locate tool here, or you can click new. So if I click site locate, it will locate any cameras on your local network if you're hardwired into it. So if there's nothing found, you might have to manually add it. If you click new here, you could name your site. You select your type, whether it's DVR, hybrid, IP camera, MVR, you select the model. So if I select MVR, you select the model of the MVR, and you select the IP address or whether you're connecting with DDNS. After you have all that information, you hit check site, and you're able to add that site to your recorder, and you'll see like I have 32 cameras total for license, and there are 30 unused. So that will go up with the amount of cameras. And we also support third-party cameras if you wanted to add them via OnViv. Access control. So if you guys are integrating our access control with the video, that's a very nice feature. So you could add your access controller to your secure guard with a license. So if you click new, same thing with site locate, you could select your access control model. You can name it here and select the IP address, and you would have to create your username and password in the access control panel to add it to secure guard. And I'll show you guys in a minute from the client what that looks like. Under schedule, this is where you have your recording scheduled. So, and also notification schedules here. So there's a default record mode. So anything in green means continuous. You could also put for motion as well. So you could select what you're recording to the server and when, and just by moving over the cameras will allow you to record during that time period. So smart things will allow you to basically add any smart device to your secure guard installation, or some smart devices. So you could add or modify the user. Yes, we could definitely send you guys the recording. So under file as well, this is if you guys are using the digital deterrent, and also with our new IP speakers, you could add it and create paging files and do that here in secure guard. So you could click add, and you go select their file, and it'll upload that file. It would have to be a WAV file as well. Notifications, this is where you could create your notifications in secure guard, whether it's motion, sensor, user recordings, status updates. So you could create custom notifications to this via a schedule. And you could select to what camera as well. Maps. So you guys could upload a picture, a map, and add where the cameras go, and it will display on secure guard client software. Users. So you could create different username and passwords and select who gets to see what camera in this section under operators. So when I click add user, you could copy the settings from an existing user and check off what sites they have access to and what roles they have access to, whether it's an administrator, user, guest, test. So you could go to roles and select what they have access to, whether it's live view, playback, if they could export video, if they could take a snapshot, that's all in this section here. And also, if you integrate with the access control, this is where your access control fields will be, like any users that have access to specific doors. All your card holders are in this section as well. Now back to licensing. So if you needed to get more than 32 cameras, this is where you will get your licensing. So you get emailed an activation code, and then this will say for 64, however many licenses you guys purchase. And under logs, we would need a health status report once the server is running. So to make the server run, you go into system, you go to manually start, and now the server is running. And if you go back to logs, you could hit export right here, export, and then it'll export that log file and you send it to orders@specotech.com, and they'll forward it over to the necessary teams, and we'll take a look and see if you guys qualify. And then you have your system logs here, as well as the config tool logs. And over here, you have your IP scanner tool if you need to scan for cameras, and about, which is your SecureGuard version and what version you're running, as well as the build data as well. So that's for the config tool. Do you guys have any questions about the config tool? You guys can put it in the chat now if you guys had any questions. So now this is the SecureGuard client tool. So as you guys could see, so this is what connects to the server software. So we always recommend having a viewer PC. So having your own PC and not connecting directly from the server. So you can see this is the map I was talking about. It lets you know, and this is the map of our headquarters where the cameras are. If a camera is disconnected, it's in red. So if I right click here, hit connect, now you could see some cameras should be displaying. And then you can see our beautiful parking lot here at Speco. And now you click on one of the cameras and you could see on the upper right hand corner, there's a indicator for recording status here. So if you could see up to 64 cameras at once in the SecureGuard VMS, and you could have multiple instances open, and you could basically create your own custom layouts as well. So if I want to be in 4x4 mode, if you want to be in 3x3, and it records both the main and the substream. So if you're in a multi-view mode here, and what I mean by that is you're in your substream. So if you double click on one of the pictures, it will load it in the full resolution. So if I come in here and go to right click and go to camera info, now you could see the resolution that you're recording at as well as the frame rate. So if you get out of it and you click on that same camera, right click, go into camera info, now it's on the substream, so it's a secondary stream. So it records both streams of data. We also have dome control. So if it's like a PTZ camera, a motorized lens, like this one, you have the ability to zoom and focus it. So if I want to zoom in here, with this camera, you just hit the zoom button and you just hit the focus or zoom out. So it will allow you to control the lens if you had a motorized lens. So like this camera right here, if zoom and focus was set up, it will allow you to zoom in and zoom out of that camera. And you could also take away that inside the settings as well of SecureGuard if you don't want them to zoom in and zoom out of the camera. And then we also have remove all. So that will allow you to remove everything from your current layout, and you could customize layouts. So if you come here and you click on those and you move everything over, and now if you go to screen mode, save current layout, you could save the current layout as, and now it'll come out over layouts. So you could have multiple layouts saved. So if you want to do more cameras, you could go to view or screen mode, save current layout, and then now if I come to my layouts, I click on this one, it goes to this layout. If you click on this one, it goes to this layout. And then you could customize your layouts like that. So if you click on local, if you're recording, this is all the playback that you have. So anything in yellow is recording days. So if you click on the recording days for like the 11th, it will load all the recording from the 11th. And we do have a nice feature called Easy Search. So under Easy Search, you click on the camera that you're looking for. You click on Easy Search and it breaks it down into 23-hour increments. So it might take a minute. It's requesting the thumbnails. So this is the easiest way to search for data. And now you double click on the time that you're looking for. So let's just say I want to see if something happened at 7 a.m. You just double click on 7 a.m. and it breaks it down into 2 minutes and 30 seconds in increments. Then you double click again, and now it's playing back that camera in full screen. And then to export it, you just right click, go into remote start. Once you want to be into export, click remote stop and click remote export. And now it's exporting that time and date. You could click browse and select where you want to store it. And then I always recommend watermarking it. And you can put the watermark wherever you would need it to go. And you export it with the SecureGuard player application. And then you could hand it to the police or hand it to wherever, and it comes with the player software. Now, if you go back to live view, and now you're back in live view. And just to show you guys how the integration with our access control works as well. So this is another installation of SecureGuard I have. So this is my recorder. This is the access control door. So anybody that comes in through the front door, you could click on it, click on the door, and it pops up the video on the upper right-hand corner. And that's with one of the integrations. And then it closes it. So if you come here to the event tab, it would say access control, give you the username, and then the door got shut. And then it'll let you know who came in with their credentials as well. So that's one of the nice features about our access control. So you could unlock and relock doors with that as well. So any questions so far? And then I'll cover what all these do. So file, you could open groups. So the nice thing about this is you could create different groups of cameras. So what that allows you to do is you could sort by groups. If you have like a restaurant or a store, you could sort by store cameras as well. You could disconnect from all sites, which will remove the cameras, or you could connect to all sites, which will add all the cameras at once. Under control, you could do local playback or export playback. Utilities, you have your lock screen and your SecureGuard player applications. Under your settings tab, you have group management, which allows you to create the groups or access the cameras. So to create a group, you click new and you title the group. And then you could move the cameras that you want in from that group. You hit apply, and then that will create a new group. And to open that group is you just double click on it here, and then you hit apply and close. And now that opens up that other group that you have access to. And then if you want to take that group out, you just go into group management, you click on all cameras, double click, hit apply, and now it will take you back to all cameras that you have access to. Image annotation, so that will show the site name, show the camera name, show the timestamp, show indicator, show doors as well. So if you ever don't want to see any of that information on the cameras, like right there, if I go to settings, go to image annotation, I could take that off, hit apply and close. Now it just shows you at once instead of it coming back from the software. Under events, you could have it pop up on full screen on motion as well, or pop-up video. So this is where you could set where you get popped up information, or if someone has access denied for the doors. So you could set up pop-up videos or how long the duration is as well. Okay, so what's the question? Is there a secure VPN to log into the cameras remotely in the event we want to adjust WDR? So that really depends on how strong the VPN is for security. So if you're logged into the same VPN as the cameras, then yes, you'll be able to log into the cameras with the local IP address and then log in with the default username and password and change the settings. Any other questions, guys?
Hey, Tim, I got
Yes.
two questions here.
Okay.
First one's from Patrick Cantwell. Can you connect customers' NVR to the secure guard, or is this only for web cameras?
You could connect the customer's NVR. So any NR series or any Speco NVRs or DVRs you could connect.
Okay. And then one from Rich Blaha. Do the PoE switches installed in this type of system affect the speed of it?
Yes, it depends on how many cameras you plug into the switches, and it also depends on basically the network type, if they have anything else on their network, whether it's access control or any other devices.
And then a final question from Neftali. What's the price? Obviously depends.
Depends
Yeah,
on what you guys have, and
yeah.
the software is free. It's a free download. You just have to email tech support at Speco Tech, and we could get them the software for free. But anything else really depends on the licensing. And then the last thing I was about to say was you could also create sequencing with the Secure Guard software where it was sequenced between the cameras. And I see the question, can we send out breakdowns or spreadsheets of pricing? Let me get back to you on that, and let's just see if we could get that to you for the pricing. Which part of Texas, John? Yeah, we could get you
Yeah.
the sales rep for Central Texas. And how many licenses does the recorder use? So the MVR, depending on the camera count, the channel count. So if it's a 32 channel recorder, it uses 32 licenses. If it's a 16 channel recorder, it uses 16 licenses. So it comes with 32 free, and then anything else you buy in blocks of 32. And we could open up for open questions or anything that you guys want to cover. This, Thomas, yes, this is the VMS for SecureGuard. We have the CMS as well, which is a lighter weight application, which is more for like live view and playback, where it doesn't have as like the features where you could add or remove different sites, like add and remove people from it. So any other questions or anything that you guys want to go over? Anything specifically? Because
And then one other question that came in, Tim, was is there any type of additional certification training on this system?
we do offer tech training. You could register on the Speco Tech website under the support tab with Daniel, myself, or Justin Taylor, and we could definitely get more training on what you guys want to go over. Like if you want to take a deeper dive into the VMS. So I basically cover the basic how to set it up. But if you want to take a deeper dive and go into like how to add the users, how to do all that, we could definitely do that. Yes, so there's a hybrid tab under the config tool where you just like the hybrid recorder and you could add both IP and TVI. So if you go to sites, new, under access control, but let me go to video, new, hybrid DVR, and you could select your model if it's an HRL series. Yes, Robert, at this time, that's just how the SecureGuard software is operating. We are looking into changing that. So we're definitely looking into changing that, where if you have 8 cameras on a recorder, instead of taking all 16 channels, it will take 8, but we're definitely looking into that. Anything else that you guys want to cover or go over, or any other questions about SecureGuard?
One other question that came in, Tim, was from Patrick Cantwell. Is the free license of 32 per site?
Yes, the free license is 32 channels total. So it's not per site, but it's just 32 channels total. So if you have 2 16s, that's the 32. If you have an 8 and a 16, then it's 32 total. So if you go over the 32, then it will ask you for the licensing.
And then one of the crews, John Barney, I know you said a question before. You're located in Central Austin. We have 2 reps there, TJ Daly and Peter Gurgis. So we'll connect one of them with you so we can kind of talk with him and have him reach out to you. So we will connect, but one of those 2 guys will be in touch. If that's it, I don't know if anyone else has anything else they'd like to go over or cover. But if that's it, like, you know, we can send a recording of this if you'd like one, and kind of go for it from there.
Definitely. And if you guys have any other questions, me and Mike will stay on for 5-10 more minutes. If you guys want to cover anything else, just let us know in the chat and we can definitely go over it.